Well, guys, the Democrats are really doing it this time. They're really trying to make it to where, you're forced to transition your kid, make them trans, because it harms the trans community. Well, we're going to go through a few things here on how that's actually bad and why it's going to be horrible, and one reason why this one lady is absolutely psychotic. And now it seems that there's no really way to actually fight back. From it seems. Well, no, there is. There definitely is. But these people are fucking insane. First off, let's take out the first clip so you guys get to see the insanity that they're doing.
Library, and you see a display that's so beautiful and so enticing, with books that you want to take home and read. We have them on display because we want you to borrow them. This is not a museum, people. Borrow a book.
Yeah, so we have one lunatic trying to, push these books onto children, which they're obviously not going to be appropriate for any type of child to read. So there's that. And now we have the big picture. The biggest thing that you guys could possibly see right now is this woman here trying to make it illegal and put you into jail for you not wanting to transition or you call your kid the opposite sex. This is truth. This is fact. This is happening in Virginia. How about you start fighting back? Take a look.
Around parents and how they handle their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
7 News reporter Nick Minock explains why this is controversial.
Right now, parents' rights and LGBTQ protections are a big focus in Virginia. Thousands of students in Virginia have walked out of class protesting Governor Glenn Youngkin's newly proposed model policies on the treatment of transgender students at school.
Trans rights are human rights.
And Governor Youngkin argues schools shouldn't keep parents in the dark about their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
These same progressives in Fairfax County actually believe that they should lock parents out of their children's lives. They think that parents have no right to know what your child is discussing with their teacher or their counselor.
Democratic Virginia delegate Elizabeth Guzman is a social worker, and she's planning on reintroducing a bill in Richmond that she says would help protect LGBTQ children from their parents and guardians who may not be affirming of their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
This is how we're going to push back.
Her bill would expand the state's definition of child abuse and neglect to include parents who do not affirm their child's gender identity or sexual orientation.
There's an investigation also in place that is not only, from a social worker, but there's also a police investigation before we make the decision that there's going to be a CPS charge.
What could the penalties be if, the investigation concludes and it's concluded that a parent is not affirming of their LGBTQ child? What could the consequences be?
Well, we first have to have an investigation. It could be a felony, it could be a misdemeanor, but we know that a CPS charge could harm, your employment, could harm your education.
And Alexandria, Nick Minock, 7 News.
And Delegate Guzman tells 7 News that she is hoping to pass the bill in the upcoming legislative session.
So there you have it. They're trying to, like I said, they're definitely trying to push to where you'll go to jail if you try to transition your kid to something that they're not really are, and they're trying to make things worse for your kid and put you into jail, which therefore would also probably make your kid more than less childless, and then have them given to some other type of family that would have to condone to the same type of rules and laws. And this is not going to go well. This is what the Democrats are doing. They're going this far to really try to see if they're going to protect kids, and that's not going to be the case. It's going to severely hurt kids. And now we are actively having doctors coming out and going against this stuff. Now, this is not in Sweden, this is not in the UK where this stuff is banned, but this is actually happening in the US, where they're actively talking about how this is actually not a good idea, and how they're explaining on how these things are potentially harmful to kids. And it's quite stunning. So they want to do all this damage, and it's here. Take a look at this clip onto where this doctor explains exactly what the damage and kind of the issues that would pertain to children if they try to transition.
gave some data about young adults who had transitioned and reproductive regret, and it's there. And I don't think any of that surprises us. I don't talk about it, but most of the kids are nowhere in any kind of a brain space to really, really, really talk about it in a serious way. That's always bothered me, but we still want the kids to be happier in the moment. It's always a good theory that you talk about fertility preservation with a 14-year-old, but I know I'm talking to a blank wall. And the same would happen for a cisgender kid, right? They'd be like, ew, kids, babies, gross. Or the usual stock answer is, I'm going to adopt. I'm just going to adopt. And then you ask them, well, what does that involve? Like, how much does it cost? Oh, I thought you just went to the orphanage and they gave you a baby. No, it's not quite like that. I think now that I follow a lot of kids into their mid-20s, I'm always like, oh, the dog isn't doing it for you, right? Yeah, they're like, no, I just found this, wonderful partner and now we're kids and da-da-da. So I think, it doesn't surprise me, but I don't know still what to do for the 14-year-olds. The parents have it on their minds, but the 14-year-olds, it's like talking with diabetic complications with a 14-year-old. They don't care. They're not going to die. They're going to live forever, right? So I think when we're doing informed consent, I know that that's still a big lacuna of that we're just.
See now you see is that the Democrats want your kids to suffer. They want your kids to be in this position of hell-bent to where obviously when they don't make great decisions that they're going to turn out for the worst. These things are a huge problem, and I cannot imagine you having one of these kids be in this type of position. Kids are kids. A lot of kids don't know what they want to be. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be a scientist. I'm still very much into science. I just don't want to be a scientist. And there was times when even I was in my late teens to where I wanted to be a police officer and ended up not becoming a police officer. So people end up changing their minds, especially kids, to where they don't know what they want to be and they don't know if they want to have kids or not. And honestly, a lot of kids say they just don't want to have kids at the beginning of their life, right? Because just a lot of responsibility. It's just it's just something they don't want to do. And everybody changes, and you're trying to make a life-changing, altering decision onto kids that is not reversible. It can't be reversed. And that's just the type of trauma you're going to put onto a kid, and they want to force you to have them transition your kids to force you to transition your kids by law, and if you don't, you get arrested, and the kid's essentially with a family they just don't know. That's insanity, and the Democrats want to do this? That's insanity. That's nuts. Why would you vote for people like this? Why would you actively want to do it? Let me ask you, Democrats, this one thing. The people that are still voting for these people. Why would you vote for people like this? Why would you vote for somebody that actively would want to potentially ruin your kid's life? Why would you? Tell me in the comments exactly why you would want to do this. I'll even I'll even have a video for you guys. I'll have you come and talk to me. We'll set up a stream, whatever, and you can come and talk to me and explain to me onto why you want this to be, because I don't know why you would want to do this or inflict this type of harm or kind of issues onto parents or onto your kids. It baffles me onto why you would want to do this. It's insanity. And if you still don't agree with me or you still don't want to see the damage, okay, then let's take a look at this clip onto this trans person of having the regret and the damage that is done to her life and the issues that they face. Take a look.
I got out of my haircut because my hair was driving me nuts, and I shaved it because I'm tired of watching my hair thin out, and it's less distressing if I shave it. So when I talk about being too far gone, I don't really know what else to call it. This is what I mean. This is how deep my voice is. It's gotten deeper over time, and it's settled. This is what I mean by hair loss. And it just keeps getting worse. It keeps thinning. It keeps receding backwards. And I'm not exactly sure that's coming back. Those are the main things when I talk about being androgenized to a point of no return. I really don't see those being fixable. So that's when I talk about, just kind of staying how I am, regardless of how I feel. That's why, just because I don't really see me personally being able to come back from what's happened so far. So I hope that's a little explanatory, just to kind of give a little bit more of a, like, kind of let me reword that, just to kind of, you know, talk about, like, give more awareness to the situation, kind of, so you can see where I'm at. Words are not working well with me right now. I'm just gonna cut this off. There you go. You know, this is what happens when you give a woman testosterone. This for 5 years. This is what happens, essentially. So, you know, that's it. Stay safe.
Alright, so yeah, so there you have it. Do you understand now? Do you see the damage that this has done to this person for 5 years? The damage is irreversible. Not talking about any of the other grotesque things that the child has to go through, like chopping or what have you, that or body mutilation, which your child does go through because you have to cut off parts that's naturally given to them through this stuff, and you actively want to do this. That is not okay. So, again, I really want to know onto why you Democrats, or why you guys would want to actively vote for people that would force you to do this, regardless of your opinion, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you think is best for your child, and put you into jail because you don't believe in what they believe. That's insanity. Democrats, I really want you guys to wake up. I really want you guys to see the damage that what these people are doing, the people that you vote for are doing. This is not okay. This is damage. And you guys are going to have to realize that. Alright? So this is the stuff that you see and that you're knowing. I'm letting you the information. You guys do with the information that you will. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going good. And these are what this lady is going to do in Virginia. Have fun with that. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.